If you're closing less than 25% of prospects on sales calls, then you likely need some sales training. And the most effective form of training is a call review. It's having a veteran who's been there and done it, watch a call back and give you direct feedback on the things that you should have done differently and the things you can adapt going forward into your next call. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I've got a call in front of me from a gent called Ben who owns a marketing agency. And I don't know whether he gets a close or a ton of objections. We're going to unpack it all together today. And if you're wondering why you should listen to me, I've been on thousands upon thousands of sales calls. I've closed many millions in revenue, both for my own companies and other companies. And I now mentor people all over the world to help them launch, build and scale service-based businesses, which are of course sales-driven companies. But I'm not here to sell you on me. I'm here to help you become a better salesperson so ultimately you can make more money. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, this is a 2-call close format. So here we have a discovery call and then we have a closing call. Now, I was going to review both sides of this call, but there was a very crucial error on this discovery call, which is a valuable lesson for every single one of you. Check this out.
Current new lead you're bringing in, how is that happening? Is that mainly house platform? What are you looking in?
Probably anything from about 5K up.
5K upwards.
Massive echo on both sides here. Now, if I can hear this in the recording, the prospect would have heard this the entire way through the call. Now, why they didn't mention this to Ben, I have absolutely no clue, okay? This is a massive issue. It's very distracting. It's very hard to get buy-in when every time you're saying something, you're hearing it being repeated on the other end. What's happening is Ben has his volume turned up way too loud. That's why it's useful to use earphones. So bear that in mind. It's a mistake that I've made myself more often than I'd like to admit. And so, yeah, crucial one. And so we can't review the discovery stage, but what I am going to do is move on to the closing call. But I do just want to outline to you what a discovery is for those of you that are wondering. A discovery stage is the stage of a call where, well, it's where we are qualifying a prospect, first of all, and we're building all of the trust and rapport. So we're jumping on a call, building some initial rapport, we're having a small talk, we're then setting the frame for the meeting so we can control that frame, and we're stating how the meeting is going to go. And then we're going to ask the prospect questions on their situation and then write down their answers so we gain ammunition that we can use when we come to either a presentation stage or a closing stage later down the line. And that's how you would run a 2-call close. Okay, some people will just go straight from the discovery onto a presentation stage, then on a closing stage, all on one call. But in this instance, it's been split out across the 2. So slightly frustrating that we can't check this out, but the closing call is 45 minutes long. So we've got a lot to jump into here. So let's get stuck straight into it. If you want to see a discovery stage done very well, I recently uploaded another call review from a gent called Daniel. Okay, go check that out. It's on my channel. Make sure you smash the subscribe button whilst you're there as well and turn notifications on so you get to see more call reviews like this in the future. Yeah.
I can see you.
There we go. Screen as well? Or?
No, just...
This is always the most challenging bit.
I presume this call recording started like after the niceties, because if we're doing a 2-call close, if we're jumping from a discovery where we've done this qualification, then we always want to make sure when we jump on to the second call, we are first of all asking if there's been any questions or anything has changed since we last spoke. So we want to get any pre-objections out beforehand. I can only presume Ben has done this. If you're watching this, you haven't done this, you absolutely need to make sure that you're questioning if anything has changed or if they have any questions since you last spoke, first of all.
Making sure that the screen...
Because we're going straight into presentation here.
Can you see my screen now, Paul, yeah?
I can see you.
There we go. Screen as well? Or?
No, just you.
Oh. Are you on your phone or...
I'm on my phone, yeah.
Okay, that might be all right. Let me try again.
Definitely should
It
be able to
does
see
say
that.
it's shared. 1 moment. Screen. Yeah, shared.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Amazing, sweet. So yeah, so based on what you told me previously, I guess you're still a new company. Been running it for the past couple of years. Your main focus right now in terms of getting leads in is just to get your name out there, get you doing more jobs, and kind of spreading brand awareness. For you as well, it would be mainly all of home automation, not really niche down into a certain section. And you're looking for kind of leads within the region of £5,000 and up. And that's mainly because obviously a lot of the leads you've had before, they are sometimes uneducated, so they have quite low expectations compared to what they really need. Would you say that's kind of accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah. And in terms of what you've said so far, you're currently making around 120, 130K. But that also does include subcontracting, which you're looking to kind of get out of and more focus on just obviously, I guess, driving sales through the business. And obviously, you're looking for significant growth, as we discussed, kind of looking to double it. Yep.
Why is it doing this?
Sorry, I lost you for a moment.
Let's try that again. Can you hear me now?
There we go. Can you hear me?
Having some issues already, right? And this is because the prospect's on the phone. And I noticed that the prospect was on the phone beforehand on the discovery stage as well. Now, if a prospect jumps on the phone to me, I could do a discovery stage if they're on the phone. That's absolutely fine. I am never going through a presentation deck with a prospect sitting on their phone, because that text that we see on screen right now, that is on a big, fat, wide screen monitor right now for me. If you're holding up your little phone, right, and he's reading that, there's no way he's able to see all of that properly, you know? Like, it's just not going to work very well. And also the buy-in just isn't there. So if a prospect jumps on a call with you and they're on the discovery stage and they're on their phone and whatever, then like I would make it clear to them at the end of that call, hey, John, it's really important that on the second call you jump onto your laptop or computer, because I'm going to be showing you a few things. I'm going to be presenting a solution to you, so I want to make sure that you can see everything and it's easily understood. Simple as that. If they say, oh, well, to be honest, I prefer to do it on my phone, but I completely understand, but broadly speaking, again, I want to make sure the information translates to you. So instead of doing tomorrow, if that doesn't work for you, when are you next going to be available to be sat in front of your computer? Okay? And just really stand firm with it. You've got to remember that trust is built by holding authority. Okay, well, there was one component of building trust. And we want to make sure that on a sales call, we are always in control of the frame. And if we are succumbing to the prospect and saying, okay, yeah, no worries, you just come on your phone and just do whatever you want, then we are starting off on the wrong foot. Okay?
Just about hear you. Let me check my volume. How about now?
Yeah, I can still hear you. All good?
1 second. Is my volume
I'll turn the volume up on my end as well. Let's see if I can increase the volume on my end.
This is an annoying stage. Ben's looking really smart though. It's looking good, presentable.
Settings. No. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
I
can
hear you now properly. Right.
There you go, great. Amazing. So yeah, so I would say as well, from what you said, obviously in terms of you're kind of making 120 to 130k, you're looking at quite significant growth. So really looking to press in on that doubling every single year, so 100% increase. So you're kind of looking at 250 in the next year, and then obviously 1 million across the next 3 to 5 years with 10 employees kind of stationed with you as well. And based on what you said to me before, you have 2 children, two girls, 7 and 11, who, as time goes on, you're looking to kind of bring into the business, also making it like a family atmosphere, not just for your kids and your family, but also for anyone you work with as well. So it shows a real family atmosphere to make everybody's thriving and striving together.
Yeah.
Great. And
Ben, slow down. You're speaking very quickly. You've got a lot of information on screen, and I'm not mad about it. Like in an ideal world, I'd like to see less text on screen. Like you could probably split this stuff across like 2 pages, because it's a little bit text heavy. I love that you've obviously hosted a good discovery call without us even watching that, because you've got a lot of information here on the prospect's current situation. And you've also even highlighted the family, but you're speaking very quickly. It's like you're just like blurting it out. You're like, so this is your situation, this is that, and you want to make 100k, but then you also want to make money, and you got your daughter, and you want to get her in the business. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. So next page. So we're not even like, what we're not doing is we're not hitting home with that message. We're not really. There's no emotion behind the words that we're saying. We're kind of just stating the facts rather than expressing the meaning through our words. Okay. So if you just slow up a little bit and just, we are just summarizing their current position, and that's fine. But if you just slow up a little bit, there'll be a bit more impact on the words you're saying rather than moving from sentence to sentence, blah, 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 blah. And I say that as someone that was a massive problem for me on my initial sales calls. I speak very quickly, as you guys will know, but you have to kind of bring it back a little bit because it's hard for people to keep up.
And finally as well, I remember you said as well that you had been kind of trying an SEO platform before. It was around like £200, but it just really wasn't bringing you anything necessary, really, in terms of actual tangible leads. And obviously you also have been using the app House as well, which was bringing in some leads. So kind of what I'm going to show you today is how we are looking to make sure we bring you actual leads and not just charging you for a service that is skeptical.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. So on to my next slide. This is kind of our normal journey through an ad. So if you have a pen and paper, you may want to take some notes. Obviously, if not, just try and take as much as you can. But this is the meta ad that we normally have. From the meta ad, we normally provide a call to action, which would then kind of lead them to a landing page. So it's very driving together.
Yeah.
Great. And finally, as well, I remember you said as well that you had been kind of trying an SEO platform before. It was around like £200, but it just really wasn't bringing you anything necessary, really, in terms of actual tangible leads. And obviously, you also have been using the app House as well, which was bringing in some leads. So kind of what I'm going to show you today is how we are looking to make sure we bring you actual leads and not just charging you for a service that is skeptical.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. So on to my next slide. This is kind of our normal journey through an ad. So if you have a pen and paper, you may want to.
We've come there and we've presented the current situation of the prospect. I would express, okay, is there anything you think I've missed on this? I would also split that up from current situation to desired situation. Or you could do current situation and then our solution. And so you can basically tease the solution. But what we're doing here is we're going straight into mechanics. So we start off in this like emotional state of like, this is where you're at and you're here and these are the problems that you're facing. We're reinforcing that and we're digging the pain, okay? We're reinforcing that. And this is really important to understand that like we've gathered all of those wonderful weapons in the discovery stage and what we've done is just blurt them out by reading them at the start here. If we had current, and other people do this differently, there's no like right or wrong way. There are multiple ways to achieve this. But in this instance, looking at this prospect in this deck, if we had like current situation and then either desired situation or current situation and then our solution or immediate solutions, okay, then we'd be able to start teasing, okay, and what we could then get is validation on our solution being the right fit. So current situation, our solution, and then we express that to the prospect, going through it point by point, being slow, asking if they have questions and so on. And then at the end of that, we can actually ask them, do you think this solution matches the problem that you're facing? Do you think these solutions will help you bridge the gap that we discussed? And we want to be getting these affirmations all the way through. Yes, 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 until you get to the final ask of, are you going to pay me money? Yes. Okay? So it's key to get these affirmations all the way through. And then at which point we've had confirmation that the prospect believes and wants the solution, because the prospect should want the solution before right now. So we're about to present the solution, but the prospect should want the solution because they should already be aware of that thing, okay? And the mechanics of that thing. So let's just say hypothetically, in this instance, it's business growth, okay? But it might be saving time. It might be fulfillment. It can be many things that you're selling somebody on. In this instance, it's business growth. The prospect isn't agreeing to you running ads to them. The prospect is agreeing in you helping them make more money, in you being the vehicle to them increasing their revenue. And so the prospect needs to agree that you are the right vehicle first, okay, or that your mechanism is correct before we then go into all this nitty gritty of like, this is the format of an ad, you know, because we haven't had the buy-in, we haven't had that pre-confirmation at this stage.
Notes, obviously, if not, just try and take as much as you can. But this is the meta ad that we normally have. From the meta ad, we normally provide a call to action, which would then kind of lead them to a landing page. So it's very separate from your page. It's nothing to do with the website. It's a separate page, and it's solely for bringing people across who are interested to fill out the form so we have their information. Then from there, it allows for us and for yourselves to do a further evaluation. So we collect all that data, provide you that information, and from there, it would allow you to pre-qualify anyone you need to. If we need to, for you do any extra phone calls, as we said before, anybody who doesn't really meet the 5K or so threshold, discussing with them what it is they're looking for, understanding if it's something that you guys would take on or not. And whilst we're doing that for you as well, allowing you to actually qualify those leads properly by giving them a call and seeing where they're at. And then that allows you to kind of get into the next stage, which is quotation, consultations, and taking them through your proper sales process. Okay. So this is kind of just a mock-up that I've done for you.
So we're not getting any, there's no active listening here. Well, we're not asking for confirmation. So before this, we're not like, does that make sense? Are you with me? Okay. So we don't want to be saying, have you got any questions at every stage, but definitely, are you with me? Makes sense, you know? But what we're doing here is we're just going through a presentation. And actually, guys, I've been sitting for a long time today. So excuse, there's going to be a little bit of background noise right now as I walk on this treadmill. Right. Broadly speaking, I don't like when new start salespeople use sales decks. Okay, I don't think it's useful. A sales deck is a visual aid and should only be used as a visual aid. A sales deck should never feel like you were taking someone through a presentation, which exactly is what this is happening right now. Ben said, let me just take you to the next slide. You know, it's very regimented. It's like it's taking you through a process. The only thing that was personalized was that your current situation. So it should be a visual aid, whereas this feels like a presentation, okay? If you're just starting in sales or if your close rate is less than 25% and you're currently using a deck and you're selling to either entry-level business owners, and by entry-level business owners, I mean like pre-50 or let's say pre-50K a month revenue. If you're selling pre-50K a month revenue, you might as well be selling to consumers. Those business owners are really not B2B. It's more like B2C as far as their mentality is concerned. Definitely the prospect here who's making like 120 to 150K, that's like a consumer. Okay, this guy is not going to have any more than 5 team members, like absolute maximum. And so he's going to be buying based on emotion, not based on logic. When you get past a certain point of business, you start buying based on logic. And that's why B2B requires more presentations, more frameworks, more case studies, etc. B2C is all about connecting with the individual. It's about building trust, okay? And that is the core, that is the essence of sales. If you can sell B2C, you can definitely sell B2B. The sales deck here, I'm not saying we need to get rid of it entirely, but I definitely think it would aid Ben in this individual circumstance to try out some sales calls without it and instead just consider which visual aids he actually needs to express his message to ensure that the prospect isn't confused. That's all, okay? So right now we're about to show an ad. That's a good visual aid, right? But what I did when I first had my first ever sales meeting, in fact, my first 5 to 10 in my agency, not like in first ever sales, I printed off this shit. Like I printed it off on a piece of paper, okay? And then I transitioned to an iPad where I just went on photos and I just had a photo I went through, but never, ever did I go presentation to local business marketing. Ever. I just got the visual aid that I needed and used it in that instance. And if you think when it's a little bit more ad hoc like this, when it's more personal, okay, we're going to build more trust because we're not feeling, or the prospect isn't feeling, like we're taking them through this regimented process, and therefore they're computing in their mind thinking, I'm just a number here, and this person is speaking to 1,000 other me's, you know? It needs to feel like you're just speaking to them, and it's like, hey, look at this thing, this is an ad, you know, or a screenshot. You know, casual. Keep it casual, keep it clean, you'll build more trust. Okay, it's counterintuitive to what people think, but B2C, which this basically is, it works a lot better.
In terms of kind of what ads would look like, I wasn't able to find many.
That's not to say that presentations don't work at all, and some people will be able to close fantastically on a presentation, but their relationship to the presentation is a lot different, and they're using it as a visual aid rather than a crux to run them through a process.
Kind of pictures on your social media. So I've just taken obviously the kind of the AI generated one for now, just to kind of show you what it would look like. So it kind of be something like this in terms of a picture or a video, and then just a bit more information as well in terms of calling out the people who it's specific to, homeowners, and then providing them with some information about what it is you do, whilst also giving them some sort of call to action, which here is mainly the kind of the free quote.
Okay. Yeah.
So from this, can you kind of see how this would help you in kind of bringing your face out there, approaching other people, and how from this it kind of gives them the not obviously an extreme amount of information, but the most relevant information to make sure the people that we're actually contacting are those who are relevant to your industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, and second of all, it's a landing page. I'll just get that across.
So moving on, what we did there is we got the confirmation. I'm conscious of starting and stopping too much, and we've got 43 minutes to get through. What we did there is we asked for that confirmation, but we just skipped through. It was like, yeah, cool, okay, next thing. You know, like it was like straight through. Like the prospect just said, yeah, like they're not really bought in. At this stage, like the prospect still isn't bought in, and you can feel it from the prospect that they're not bought in.
For you, this is kind of a little mock-up. I couldn't find a logo for you, so I've just taken the one used it in your Facebook. But it's just a brief mock-up. Allow someone to give their information, first name, last name, phone number, email, also their address and postcode, so it can allow you to kind of gauge where they are in terms of where they are, and obviously Google Maps would allow you to kind of see the place before actually again contacting them to kind of understand what it looks like, and also kind of understanding.
I think a lot of people are put off by that. if we can just put in the postcode so that we get the area,
Yeah.
that should suffice.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. We go through this obviously in a lot more detail. This
Yeah.
is just a mock-up to show you kind of what we normally do. But any changes you want to make to this, again, it's your personalized.
Ben he's giving me, I need you. He's giving me desperation. It's like, no, we can do this, but it's just a mock-up, and no, so whatever you want. Like, what we're doing there is we're putting ourselves on the back foot. When you're an expert, if you've got to think, right, if you want the best close rate possible, if you want to be smashing sales, then you need to be acting as if you don't need the sale. You need to be acting as you're already an agency owner making 100K a month. Think about how you'd handle a sales call then, okay? If you had something on this landing page that the prospect didn't necessarily like, and they called you out on that, and they said, I don't think that's good. I don't think we should use that because people don't like that. We say, actually, this is exactly what we do with all of our other clients, and it works exceptionally well because of X, Y, Z. And if we allow, or we give the prospect the opportunity to learn something through us, then we massively build trust, okay? The prospect wants to be having these mini epiphanies through the conversation with us. So what happens, people who start off in sales think that they need to do whatever the prospect wants them to do in order to make them happy. That's not what the prospect wants at all. The prospect wants you to tell them what they should do so they could get the result that they want, okay? They don't manifest that in the things that they say. But when you do that, and when you teach them, and when you stand firm on your principles because you know what is right and you are the expert, they think, shit, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I do need to pay these guys because they clearly do. Okay, so it's better to mind. Also, landing page, this is not a nice landing page at all. So I applaud Ben for doing the mock-up. Like, it's cool to do the mock-up, but like if you're going to do a mock-up, make it good. Like these colors, you can't even read that text with the thing on screen, like not nice. So just show a different landing page from a competitor and then figure that shit out afterwards, because this doesn't fare well or reflect well on the service.
Strategy that we just implement for you, any changes you want to make to that we can make for you. Because I agree, yeah, when I see certain things, although I'm interested, once I see my actual address, I'm a bit less interested. I might just try and call you instead, or I might just forget altogether. So yeah, postcode on its own is definitely a lower barrier to entry. And then obviously as well,
so you've agreed with the prospect, and you've even said like, yeah, I agree when I do this thing myself with the address. Like, then why put address? You put address. Why put it if you don't think it's right? You know? I agree. I don't think you need the address. I think you should definitely do postcode, right? But if you knew that, why put it? Because now what you've done is you've admitted a mistake before the prospect's even been sold.
I've just included, I can't include most of the main services. We can change these for you as well for what is specific to you, but just understanding what they're looking for, and if they're looking for any additional services on top, because you never know, they might want 2 small jobs done, and also just kind of understanding their budget. We don't like to use the term budget because obviously when people say budget, they never really go to the maximum. They kind of go somewhere in between what they assume the job will be and where they really would look to go. So we always kind of ask what the maximum is, but again, we can change that for you. But normally with budgets, we kind of know somebody's maximum would normally be 20% above their budget, just understanding that cost may change. And let me just, again, offer them a free quote. Below here, we've kind of put your location, gives them the address, so it allows them, even if...
This is all mechanics. This is all mechanics. We're laying all of our cards on the table here, and we're like, this is like an onboarding call, you know? Like we're showing the prospect everything we can do for them. But Ben, I applaud you for being really detailed, but you don't need to go through this stuff. Like you want to be beautifully vague in the sense that you give all of the information that they need to understand that this is the solution that they want. But this is like detailed. They don't care that you got to get in touch at the bottom or what questions or the technicality of whether or not the budget is going to be like answered honestly and with integrity. If they cared about that, they're going to ask you about it, and then that's your opportunity to speak to them about it.
So some people will kind of look at this, and as they scroll through, just see your number there, see your email there, and try and contact you elsewhere. So it just allows them, obviously, from the ad, without having to go searching for your information, to have any possible way of contacting you. If they want to call you, email you, go to your website and see more, but mainly as well, just kind of filling out the quote.
No, that sounds good.
And what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like that's something that could really help you in terms of kind of driving leads?
Yeah, I mean, those
those ads would run on which platforms?
So that's mainly Facebook and Instagram. We would look to start those off on. We can move those across to Google too. The strategy would be a bit different, but we like to start on Facebook and Instagram first of all, because the leads on there are cheaper. And in terms of obviously Google, they are probably normally higher quality because they're looking for the service specifically. But when it gauges out between like the amount of leads and the conversion rates, Facebook and Instagram is normally more favorable when you're first starting out, because it would allow us to obviously the first stage. I'll take you to the next slide. The first stage is always kind of testing. So our first stage is building foundations. We need to kind of understand the best audience for you. At the end of the day, all of the money that's going into this.
It's on my mind, Ben. The landing page that you showed, don't do a bespoke one for every single client. Create a new landing page. If you're going to show a landing page, don't go through it in so much detail. I would just do a screenshot just to give a very vague example and just make it beautiful. Make it beautiful. Like, use a template that you've already got. You know, you've got a template provided to you. Use that template.
Without, I guess, as an analogy, you could say it's a sieve. When you first start, it's a sieve, and the more you start to personalize it and change it, let's say we start at ages of 30 to 60, and we realize most of the leads coming through are 30, 35, 45. Once we kind of narrow down that 50 plus gap, we've kind of closed off some holes in the sieve, and I guess really and truly saving you money that way, making sure that the money is being prioritized to people who will buy. So we always like to do on Facebook and Instagram, because the money that may not necessarily be being allocated efficiently isn't as high. So the cost per lead, the cost per click is a lot lower. Therefore, the money that's being utilized to understand the perfect audience for you is less.
Okay.
That make sense to you, or do you have any questions about that?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so these are kind of our three stages. As I said before, we like to start by building foundations for you. So that would normally be, I guess, testing out a few different ad creatives, also different ad copies, as well as the locations. Obviously, you said you kind of looking in I guess, Richmond area, also just mainly areas that have wealthy populations. So obviously doing it across those locations, we're kind of looking to see what people are looking to see. Do they prefer ads? Do they prefer videos? How do they like to be addressed? And again, as well, what is the demographic in terms of ages, interests, and gender? So we really do quite a lot of that on the back end. We go into the ad once every 3 days and try and make changes. And we have a meeting once a month showing you all the changes we've made, and it allows you to understand the ad sets. Because between me and you, I had a meeting just the other day with another kind of home improvement business like yourself, and they've been running ads for a year, but they've decided they don't want to go forward with their marketer anymore because their results weren't great. But because they just kind of did it outsourced, they weren't having any meetings, so they weren't actually aware what was working well. So now they're coming on board with us. They have no idea what worked well previously. So it's kind of starting from scratch. So and we don't like to leave you like that. We're here to provide value end of the day. So even if you feel we're not a good fit for you, it's always good to kind of know.
Too much talking. This is all fluff. This is all fluff. This is all mechanics. This is all features and benefits. This is features, not benefits. Okay, benefit. Like this is all just like, this is all fluff. And I feel you because I've been there myself. Okay, this is fear manifesting as. This is fear of prospect not being bought in, manifesting in, I need to tell the prospect more to try and sell them, but you're selling them on the wrong thing.
What's working best for your business. So when you try elsewhere, or if you were to try elsewhere, you wouldn't have to then start from zero.
Okay.
Stage 2 as well is obviously conversion and funnel optimization. So we start with quite a few different tests, and as time goes on, we turn the tests that aren't performing the best off. So we look to try and stick to, I guess, normally 2 to 3 winning ads, but we normally start with 1. And as time goes on, it's just about, I guess, moving or apportioning higher percentages of the ad spend to that budget to make sure we can reach more people. Because the more ad spend that you put onto an ad, the more people it reaches. And it's not, with Facebook and Instagram, it's not really proportionate. So let's say it was £200 per ad set and you got 1 lead a day. At £400, you wouldn't get 2 leads, you probably get 4 leads. And then at 600, 800, you probably get 15, 16. So it's more an exponential growth, not really a proportionate growth. So yeah, as time goes on and we notice ads are doing better than other ads, they're providing more high quality leads, we will start to apportion more ad spend on those while still testing for more winning ads.
Yeah.
And then finally, our final stage is normally kind of unique.
You're basically just telling him everything that you're doing. This is what we're going to do. This is everything that we do. Well, no, he doesn't need to know everything that you do. This the conversation you have with your team. You know, he doesn't need to know that. You can do these 3 stages, that's absolutely fine, but the level of detail that you're going into here is just unnecessary.
Positioning, which is once we've kind of got through the stage of testing and also, I guess, optimizing, it's a stage we kind of stay in and maintain, which is mainly how can we uniquely position you as a business and make sure that you can retain your customers and they actually come back for repeat business. So that starts to look into things in terms of website optimization, SEO, also kind of just overall content for the social media side of things. I know obviously currently, as you are mainly focusing on obviously getting your name out there, you're not posting so much on social media because you're actually doing the day-to-day jobs. And also, so yeah, we're looking for also that side of things as well as email marketing, kind of Google reviews and actually retargeting people on the Google side of things.
Okay.
Yeah. So for you, from a scale of 1 to 10, how would you think this, I guess, 3-stage strategy, along with the let me go back to the previous, along with this kind of flow, fits your business in terms of kind of bringing leads in?
Yeah, that definitely sounds good. The fact that you're constantly working on it to optimize it is good, a good thing ultimately.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's kind of what gives you our winning hand at Ace for Trade. We always try and provide you something that stacks.
On a scale of 1 to 10, well, I do think it's good. Yeah, I like that you're optimizing it all the time. Yeah, and then we move on. Like, now, John, that's not a scale of 1 to 10. I want to know out of 10. In fact, as I said that, like, that's just not something I would never say. I would never ask that question on a scale of 1 to 10 because, like, again, it's so obviously a question to try and ask someone their level of buy-in, you know. And again, it kind of it feels just like desperate, you know. It feels like an attempt to, like, do you want this? Like, are you bought in? Like, the prospect should want this from the discovery stage. In the discovery stage, we understand their needs, we listen to them, we dig the pain, very important, we dig the pain into the prospect if they're not doing this themselves and the opportunity cost of them staying in the position that they are right now, okay? They should already be bought into the solution. Here we educate them, but we don't educate them just by talking at them, it's a conversation. Yeah, the scale of 1 to 10 thing, I'd cut that out.
The deck in your favor. And one thing we would say that mainly does that is the proactive approach that we do, because by the end of
but all of this stuff is out of ad strategy or sales meeting strategy that I would normally teach. All of this stuff, you don't need the 3 stages, this winning hand and all this. This is all mechanics. This is all features. This is not benefits. This is not results.
If you had to sign up with us between then and our first monthly meeting, we would have had 10 repetitions where we would have gone into the ads and done iterations. Whereas with other
doesn't matter. 10 iterations doesn't mean anything to the prospect. The prospect doesn't know what an iteration is. The prospect just wants to know, are they going to get leads?
Agencies, they'll check it maybe once a week or even just once a month in the actual meeting. But by doing so, let's say 3 months down the line, where some places you would have had only 12 iterations or 3.
I'm saying all of this, but like, Ben might close this prospect. I have no clue whether he's going to close the prospect yet, and he might close it. Okay, and if he does, cool. But if he does, then if he does, then it's amazing, because if you got a close here, then there's so much to gain here on your next sales calls.
We would have had 30 iterations with us, which means over time we're just constantly building a well-oiled machine that converts at a higher and higher rate.
Yeah.
And alongside that, obviously, again, our personalization, making sure it's tailored to you, and we're not just giving you a copy and pasted strategy that works with any business. Because although it can work with any business, and normally you can get decent results, we're not looking to just get you decent.
Because we're still on there. What's the prospect saying now?
An 8, 9. I mean, the proof will be in the pudding.
Of course. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you feel that this fits?
Oh, the scale.
Fits with you?
I mean, at the moment, about an 8, 9. I mean, the proof will be in the pudding.
Of course, 100%.
In the past, I've been promised a lot and delivered very little. So,
yeah, no, of course, and that is also why we have within our first 30 days, we don't do, obviously, as I told you before.
Conversational sales is different, but like, prospect says to me, we've been burnt in the before. Like, yeah, no, I remember you saying yesterday, it's so frustrating for me that there are other people in this industry that over-promise and under-deliver to prospects. Like, it's always been my mission to under-promise and over-deliver to every single person that we work with, just to reaffirm that. You know, like, here it was like, cool. But we also have this guarantee. You know, and this is, then what we've done is, presuming that Ben's gone through into the...
So there is nothing to really tie you in. In the first 30 days, you can break it any time.
So, but he didn't ask that, you know? He didn't ask that. He just... So he said... Oh, let me just let this play, you know.
And after that, it's just 30 days notice. So we never have any sort of contracts to tie you in. Of course, we do provide discount incentives on our service fees in terms of those contracts as well, to if somebody does feel like we're doing a great job and just to kind of have more stability. But there is no pressure to tie in. And I guess just to kind of show you our pricing.
Ooh, Ben! No! No! So the prospect said, and raised the concern. He said, "I'm an 8 or a 9, but..." So we did the thing out of 10 thing, which again was just a bit too much. But the prospect said, "I'm an 8 or a 9." And some people did 10. I'm not going to get hung up on it. Some people can do this out of 10 thing and they can pull it off and it will work well. And if someone says an 8, they could be like, "What's the missing 2? Like, what can I do to make that a 10?" You know, I can imagine that. Maybe do it once. Maybe do it like just before the pricing page, and maybe the time that you did it, I can see that working, like different styles, whatever. But the prospect just said, like, "Yeah, I'm an 8 or 9, but like I've been promised the world before, and it hasn't materialised." That's a pre-sale objection. A pre-sale objection. Now, what we didn't do here is objection handle. We didn't go through that. Okay, if the prospect hadn't already told me, so my previous answer was going off the basis that the prospect already spoke to Ben about this in the discovery stage. It must have happened. If he's already worked with someone, it must have happened. If the prospect didn't go through this to you in the discovery stage, then I would say, "I really see you've worked with an agency before," okay? And let them speak about it. And then I would have like a 5-minute conversation about that. I would understand the reasons why it didn't work. I would understand the reasons why they didn't like the agency, the things that they wish were different, okay? The impact of that on the business, okay? And I would then affirm all of the things that we do that are the complete opposite of that, okay? So, yeah, what we did here instead is we said, "Yeah, I understand. So we have this 30-day rolling contract, and if you want to get out at any time, you can." So just think about that. Prospect says, "I don't trust you." That's what they said. I want the service, but I don't know that I can trust you. And you say, "You don't need to trust me because you can leave the contract any time you want. So if the service is shit, you can leave." Think about that. That doesn't make the prospect think they can trust you. That just makes them think they can leave if you're shit. That doesn't make them think you're not going to be shit. It just makes them think they're not locked in. And then the worst thing, much bigger than that objection, is you then went straight into pricing. So we were in a negative frame coming into the sale, coming into the close. The negative frame is, "I don't know that I can trust you," okay? And which is why it's important to do the 3-question close that I run through. But the prospect is, "I don't know I can trust you." And then it's like, "Well, you don't need to trust me because you can leave any time. And by the way, this is how much it costs." We like glass over the biggest objection that we've faced on this entire call so far. And then we go to, "But do you want to buy though?" Like, I will be very, very surprised if the prospect closes.
What we've seen for you, we do have a setup fee for all.
Just to affirm to all of you, before you come to price. Now, the ideal situation about price, okay, is the prospect asks you for it. If the prospect wants it, they will ask you for it. So by the time we get to the end of the presentation, like, we confirm that they agree that this is the solution or the right solution to help them bridge their gap from A to B or A to C, if you're doing an ABC close. So we reaffirm that, and we reaffirm their goals just to get them thinking about that. So you're currently at this point and you want to get to this point. Do you agree that this is the right solution to get you there? Yes. Then they need to agree that you are the right person to take them there. And then they need to agree to proceed to the next step. Okay? Well, shall we do this? Are you ready to proceed? Are you ready to move forward? Yes, but I need to understand how much it costs. That's what happens. And then you go in pricing. But this is like worst case scenario. We're like negative frame into pricing.
All platforms, but we do waive that fee. We like people who are committed and actually action takers. So from when our contract is sent out, if you were to sign up with us in the first week of that contract being sent to you, we would waive any.
This is so confusing. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Like if you're gonna have options, okay, call them something. Yeah, do silver, bronze, silver, gold if you need to, or better silver, gold, platinum, or silver, gold, diamond, because bronze is like a little bit shit. And if you're going to show them, then run through them, run through them one by one. Don't run through the entire thing, okay? And also just give like a maximum of 2 options. Don't go for 3. 3 is too much. On screen like this, like, it's really difficult to just, like, you've got like 750 ad spend on the left, but then the ad spend goes up to 1,000 on the middle. So it's like you have to decipher the differences. And then the service fee, and we've got the setup fee. Like there'll be better ways that we can display this. Like the setup fee could be above, so that's like a given. Okay, and we don't need to display the ad spend on any of these. It's like there doesn't need to be 750 on option 1. Like just keep it as a £1,000 across the board. So ad spend doesn't need to be there either. Okay, and even the service fee is the same. So like what we've got is we've got like a triple iteration of the same pricing structure here. Effectively, I'm trying to find what's different. What is different between option 2 and option 3? Option 2 and option 3 are exactly the same. We have £500 setup fee, £500 setup fee, 1,000 ad spend, 1,000 ad spend, 500 ad spend, 500 service, 500 service. But 60 days free social media management package valued at 300. So there is no option. It's obviously option 3 in that instance. But there's no point having them there. It doesn't, like, option 2 might as well not exist. It serves no purpose. And so, like, if we're going to have the pricing, and it's going to be the same across all of these, normally, if we're having options, the pricing varies. Okay, and so we only want one number under each of those options. If the setup fee remains the same across all, have that above, so it's unified for all of them. That's the setup fee, this is the ad spend. So regardless of which package you take, the setup fee is £500, and your monthly ad spend is 1,000. And then we have 3 different options for you, okay? But yeah, it's too much, 2. Just 2 options. One's polarizing, one is just more like standard, you know? You hope they're going to take the biggie, but they're more likely to take the standard, and it's like a price anchor, as it's called. It's a larger price that makes this smaller price feel much smaller. Okay, so we need to clean this page up. The prospect is going to be doing exactly what I just did whilst you're talking. They're going to be looking at these numbers and trying to figure it all out, which means they're not listening to a word that you're saying.
So any setup fees that we have, so there would be no setup fee. But for us, in terms of obviously a campaign for you, based on the fact you want kind of 5K leads, we for all platforms, but we do waive that fee. We like people who are committed and actually action takers. So from when our contract is sent out, if you were to sign up with us in the first week of that contract being sent to you, we would waive any service fee.
So it's not being delivered well. So we've got a setup fee, and this is being used as a waiver. So this is a common sales strategy. We have a setup fee, but I prioritize working with action takers. They normally find them the best clients. And so if you make a decision today, then we'll waive the fee for you. Now that's an okay statement to make. That's fine. But don't make it before you've stated the rest of the price. You lose your leverage, because what you've basically just admitted is fake. If you're going to state the price, okay, state your price with the setup fee and get an objection. Then utilize getting rid of the setup fee after the objection, so it's an actual weapon.
Any setup fees that we have, so there would be no setup fee. But
for us, we can't use it now.
Obviously, a campaign for you. Based on the fact you want kind of 5K leads, we've noticed that it normally works well in testing. Anything to do with, I guess, 1/7 of the leads quality or above. So we would say normally a 750 ad spend to do so, and we would change that across in stage 2 of our 3-stage plan to £1,000, just so we can actually gauge how well the leads are doing, mainly in terms of pricing. I will share with you again, I had a meeting previously, as I said before, with the home improvement. They were doing around previously, I think, £400 or £340 in ad spend, but it was being allocated quite poorly, and they were getting an average of 1K 1K in leads. So obviously we could go down that path and try and get you 2K, but based on our conversation, I know you're looking for more than 5K, 10K, and really increasing jobs. So that's kind of why we would start at 750. And as time goes on, I guess in our meetings between those times, just understanding how the leads are performing for you. Are the leads actually going through with the work, and if so, at what level? And then it would allow us to understand when it would be good to change to 1,000. Our service fee for our first two contracts would be £500 as well. Well, actually, all three of them would be £500. We just cover a fixed fee, and that's for our costs and also our time, and as well as our appointment setters that we have on site. With the second option, I call it an accelerator mainly because with the increased ad spend as well, it allows us to reach more people. So the more people we can reach, the more data we have, and the more we can use that data to make our iterations and make sure we're actually making effective changes within our every 3-day change. And finally, that third option is mainly to do with the social media side. As I said before, I noticed you guys aren't really running much on social media. So it's just to allow you to have your own audience as well. Obviously, there is the whole of social media, Instagram and Facebook, where you can reach out to people, but building your own kind of core, unique audience also helps, because then you have people, I guess you can call them your own little mini marketers. They're people who can actually go out and sell the service for you, and they hear their friend is looking for, I guess what we always do is like lighting automation, or looking for kind of I think it's the shade blinds. If they're looking for someone like that, they can just say, I know someone on social media who does this. They just send them your page, and it's kind of like having your own little audience of people who will market for you alongside your advertising. So I guess it just gives you a double-edged sword on that side of things.
Yeah.
Based on these three options, which would you say? What are your thoughts first of all? Which would you say is, I guess, best tailored to you at this moment in time?
The ad spend budget is higher than I was thinking it was going to be, I must admit. Just on the fees, the service fee is a monthly fee, or is that a one-off fee?
Oh yeah, the service fee is a monthly fee for us. The ad spend as well, monthly fee, but the ad spend, obviously, I'm sure you're aware, that comes, so on our onboarding call, we just actually set that up on your card. So it's not, so it wouldn't be like, say, 750.
They didn't ask about the ad spend, they asked about your service fee. It's monthly. That's the answer. So the service fee, is that monthly or is that one-off? It's a monthly fee. That's all. When you're presenting a price to someone, if going on the basis that the person has asked for the price, which they should have, you want to make sure. And I would actually get rid of the ad spend from this page. I would maybe have it on I would duplicate this page and have it on the next page. And then you have ad spend come up then. Let them ask about it and then you go through it. Don't confuse them with too many numbers. If you're an ad agency, that is. Have the setup fee and then the service fee. And so they'd ask, say, cool, so we have a setup fee to get you started at £500. And then our monthly service fee is 1,000. That is everything that needs to be said. You stay dead. You stay quiet, and you let the prospect speak. Because as we all know, the first person that speaks after the price is stated is the one that loses. Because what happens here, and what's happening in Ben's situation, and which is why we now have 20 minutes of objection handling coming up, the prospect isn't going to trust Ben. Because Ben is not coming across as someone with authority. Now, I'm saying this, I feel bad about what I'm saying, because I don't want to, I'm not trying to, Ben, you're watching this, I'm not trying to slate you, man, at all. This is the kind of feedback that I got when I started in sales, when I was just I was worse than you, believe me. I was so much worse than you when I used to walk to the edge of the office and I'd be trembling with fear and I'd be useless. But I had a very harsh sales trainer who I grew to love because he helped me transition from a boy to a man and from a sales perspective. And he enabled me to find my authority, which is what you need to find, your authority. And so all of these words, all of these fillers, all of this stuff that you're saying, this is all the stuff that I used to do, but it is a crux for fear. And what you are doing is you are destroying the trust that the prospect needs to have in you in order to buy from you. But we're going to get you there, man. We're going to get you there.
A month at one time, Facebook just bill you every 3 days, sometimes every week, sometimes every 10 days. They just bill you at a certain period of time to collect the money. But yeah, that would be a £500 ad spend every month. And that just kind of includes our experience, our time going into the ads every 3 days to make our changes, as well as the monthly calls and obviously any other advice that we provide you. But yeah, for today, if you were to go ahead with us, the only thing that would need to be set up is a £500 service fee.
Okay. Between option 2 and option 3, So you get the 60-day free 10x10 social media management package.
Say what I said.
Correct.
What does that involve exactly?
Oh.
So
Okay, so 10.
What he was
Yeah,
going to
so-
say,
so-
what is the difference?
what does the 10x10 stand for?
Yeah, I'll tell you that now. Yeah, everyone always asks. 10x10 is obviously 10. That would be 10 social media posts and 10 stories. So it would allow you to not only be active on the, as I said before, in the ad side of things. Some people see ads, and when they do see the ad, they want to click into the social media page more and understand more. Some people like to, I guess, digest it quite slowly. As I'm sure you're aware, a lot of the people you'd be reaching out to, some of them work 9 to 5, some of them are stay-at-home mums. So they just kind of like to go through pages more, see what people are up to. So that would just allow us to give you a constant presence online. So if someone was to refer back to more, I guess, more data from themselves, they would see a social media platform, an Instagram platform, and we would do that for you each and every month. As I said before, the first 2 months are free, and then from there, the value package is £300, but we would do it at a £250 fee. So that'd actually be £750 monthly.
Okay, all right.
But also, along in our monthly meetings, there'd also be a report there to obviously kind of show you the breakdown in terms of how many followers that's given you in the past month, the interactions, the engagements, but also the way Facebook and Instagram works is it tells us the audience type and some of the demographic and also where they live. That's the kind of information we could then transfer across to Facebook and get, I guess any data is helpful data. So having more data from Facebook telling us who your audience currently is and the people that are actually interacting with your social media posts would allow us to then actually use that in further audience types for your ads as well.
And with that service fee, that includes an appointment setter?
Yes, anything and everything is included. There will be no additional charges, so we can have an
every time someone clicks onto the landing page and fills out the form,
Yeah.
you do the qualification of that kind.
Yeah, we're always happy to do so. We say it as an optional because we know there are some businesses that are more qualified than us, so
Just
they
say yes.
take the calls themselves. Like any and every
Just say
help
yes.
you need from us on that side of things in the funnel. Let me just go back to the funnel again. In terms of
You don't need to just say yes.
I help with. So if there's an appointment setter to take the call and just understand more, we're always happy to do so. We like to mainly so far do the ones that are, I guess, just outside of your range to understand why they are, and if it's less to do with pricing but more to do with education, giving them that bit more education so they understand why it is the prices are a bit higher, and it's mainly because of the equipment and not just because you're trying to make a margin, because normally that's what they believe it's down to. So yeah, we're happy to take any and every call, but just obviously in terms of, I guess, the 20k 25k plus calls, we know that owners are more obviously wanting to kind of be hands-on and do those themselves, just to make sure that they go through clearly and all questions are answered.
Okay, but the appointment setter could literally just phone up, qualify the lead, and arrange a Teams call or something like that.
100%. Yeah, that's what we look
for
to
the
do
future.
On our onboarding calls and so basically, let me just kind of make you aware of if you had signed up with us, we have like a 2-week process.
You're now going to talk about onboarding. He doesn't want to know about onboarding. He's not asking you about onboarding. He just said, is the appointment setter going to be able to call up? Yeah, of course. That's all.
We normally try and schedule an onboarding call within 72 hours, and that's just to set us up on your Facebook, Instagram, set up the payment methods, all that kind of stuff. 72 hours after that, we also like to have a kickoff call. So that's where we kind of show you the clear strategy and the ads that we're going to set up for you. And then a week after that, after the ads have been set out, that would be 7 days after signing. A week after that, we would then have a 1-week call to kind of just make you aware. It's been a week since the ads have been out, just so you're kind of up to date with where we're at, how things are going, and then setting up our call for the next month. So yeah, our appointment setters will make any calls for you, and obviously it's always good to have, I guess, have a synchronized diary. So if you want to set up let's say a Teams call, having a synchronized diary on the back end between us and yourselves to set that up. But we can also set that up on the landing page. If I show you that again, on our landing page this is actually a funnel. So from here, how to fill this all in is so far just say, get a free quote and do a thank you page. But we can actually set up a second page in between that would actually be like a calendar.
I love your passion. I love your passion. I love your desire to give the deep depth of answer that you think the prospect wants. But what you're doing is you're putting the prospect off. And if you're not putting this prospect off, you'll definitely put other prospects off. So I love your passion. I love your desire to be deep and just comprehensive. but this is not what the prospect needs.
Okay.
A calendar, they could then just kind of set up a Teams call with you based on your best availabilities. But obviously, as well, if you want that more personalized touch, which we understand, we can call them for you and actually pick them in with you. It's based on, I guess, what fits best for your business.
Okay. All right. Okay. That all sounds good. So moving on, this social media manager after the 60 days would be $250 a month.
Correct. Yeah. So it's valued at £300. We also have a large package that is 20 by 20. That's £500. But we would do it at $250.
Yes.
Just for the 10 by 10 package.
Okay. And what if I didn't have enough content for 10 by 10?
I guess, yeah, if you didn't have enough content, we would probably advise to not move ahead with that. But for now, at the end of the day, our main thing to do is advise you correctly and advise that you go with the best steps. If there's not enough content to, I guess, provide the 10 by 10, it would mainly be to, I guess, whilst during that period of time, if it's something that you want to look into, just be collecting as much content as you can. We can also, I guess, arrange content days for you, or I guess content sessions for you that we can arrange. We have a few different videographers at our disposal. Yeah. But until then, obviously, I guess, yeah, the best thing would probably be not to do those until then.
But obviously, going for option 3 sounds like the better deal.
Correct. Yeah.
Because you do get the social media management in there, and I've probably got enough content for a few posts, but maybe not 10 by 10.
Okay.
Would you work with minimal posts and that, and then at the end of the 2 months, if it deemed that there wasn't enough content, then we just scrap the social media management side of things, or would that be a ongoing thing?
Just to get, I guess, getting clarity, how many posts would you say you currently have? Or how much content would you say you currently have? Because the main thing we're looking at, I guess, is mainly
I've probably got enough content for maybe 4 or 5 posts.
Okay.
And stories.
Okay, so 4 to 5 posts, 4 to 5 stories, all together.
All together.
Okay.
But then I'm not 100% sure how you would do them. So maybe there's more there. I don't know. I'm not 100%.
Yes. So what we like to do is we like to, again, this is always optional and personalizable, but we like to do on a social media platform, obviously, especially on Instagram, you have 3 different columns. So we like to have 3 different themes.
I'm going to skip through your objections because here you're still talking about that thing for a good over a minute there. That's that. All right, let me ask. I'm just going to go through to the prospects objection, and if I find like interesting ones, then I'll stop.
Content, and then you can still obviously utilize the 60 days to understand how it works and how it best fits. Does that sound fair? Is that best for you?
That would work. All right. Can I have some time to mull this over?
Yeah, of course.
Check that. Ultimately, I can afford.
Don't say yeah, of course. Can I have some time to mull this over? What is it you need to think about, Paul? What do you need time to think about?
It long term rather than just say, yeah, let's go for it, and then find a month and a half down the line, actually, I haven't got the budget for this, so I need to make sure I got the budget.
No, of course. Just to ask.
You're cutting him off. You're about to objection handle, which is good, but you're cutting him off.
Sorry, which would you say is, I guess, the best option for you then?
Well, if we can agree to a trial of the social media management, even if it's just for 1 month to see how the content flows and stuff like that, then I'll probably go for option 2.
Okay.
Yeah, probably option 2.
Okay, that works. And I guess based on what you were saying, for you, the main hurdle is currently kind of budget side of things, and not necessarily any worries about the service.
No, the service sounds good. I just got to make sure that I've got the budget to at least give this a shot, because you're not going to see all the results actually come in for the first 3 months. So
precisely, that was going to be the next thing I was going to say to you. The first 3 months is mainly a warming process, but the one thing I would say to you is, obviously, if it was...
Stop, Jordan, stop.
If it was as easy as just throwing in £1,000 and getting £10,000, like everyone would do social media.
Yeah,
I feel like this is definitely the best package available to make sure that we're actually actively approaching people, but not at the same time just throwing money down the drain that would then not be recoverable. I believe with this package, I'm very confident that we will bring you in quite a substantial amount of leads, and from there, I guess it's just vetting those leads, qualifying those leads, and then taking them through your sales process.
Yeah, my biggest concern is the monthly costs. Obviously, £1,500 a month for a small company like myself, which
The prospect is too small in this instance. The prospect is making 120 to 150k, so they're actually underqualified. I understand why Ben's gone through this process because he wants to sign them up. But like, I'm not surprised there's a budget objection here. The prospect is too small, broadly speaking. You want to be like 20k a month plus. Yeah.
we've got a few jobs on, but they're all finishing in the next couple of months.
Okay.
I've got some potential other jobs starting, but it's still up in the air. So I've just got to make sure that through my normal income, I can afford the £1,500 for at least 6 months.
Okay, no, that's understandable. I guess one thing I would say is I've had this before as well previously with someone that was looking to come on board, and their concern was as well the same, because it is quite a high cost. But I guess the main thing to always look at is we're always looking to bring you the most tangible results possible. For us, that first month is not going to be, I guess, sat around just doing basic work. We're really going to go all in, all out for you. Really and truly, within that every 3 days check, we're spending 2 hours minimum going through every single piece of
It's not about your time. It's not about your frequency.
Of content and every single piece that I possibly can. I'm very
This is like, please, 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 I'm going to work hard. That's what this answer is.
with all this details. So even if I could just change, let's say, homeowners, obviously previous. Let me, if I go back to the previous.
We're scrambling. This is please, please, please buy.
Say homeowners.
Don't trust. Even if I don't care what happens on this sales call, like if this prospect says yes, then he fucking clearly wanted it so bad. But if you're doing even like 50% of this on other sales calls, you're going to massively turn people off.
To the specific location, like Richmond homeowners, and see an increase in conversion, I always look to do that. So for us, we are always looking to get you tangible results in month one, and if we can, I guess that kind of covers the ad spend for that month. And if we can get you obviously that on a repeated basis, the ad spend covers itself. That's what we're always really looking to do for you. It's not so much placing a burden on you in terms of a personal situation. Of course, in the first month, because of the testing, that could potentially, I guess, be a downside. But for us, we understand that in the long term, if the service doesn't pay for itself, then I guess why have the service in the first place? So for us, as soon as we possibly can, again, as I said, month one, month two at the latest, and that's why we look to, I guess, find the best ad. And once we do, move the budget across so we can actually get to more people and get more leads in, is have the service covering itself, and not only covering itself, but bringing you profit from it as quickly as possible also.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay. So I think the biggest crux is the ad spend, isn't it? I mean, that's a budgeted amount. Could come in a little bit less some months, and possibly a little bit more some months. Is that correct?
No. So the ad spend will never be more, but yeah, less. But when I say less, let's say less. Let's look at both sides of things. So best side of things, we're getting you tons of leads, more leads than you can cope with. Then let's say we'll probably scale down the ads for the month. Nice. We'll turn them off. So and £1,000 ad spend could be £800.
That's a nice.
Worst case scenario, you're getting loads of leads, but they're not all converting, so the ad spend is up. Chances are you're looking at £990. But yeah, it would always be at around 1,000. There would never be a time it was more than £1,000 a month. And yeah, if that was the case, I feel like the first thing we would do is be on to Meta to understand why we've gone over a budget. But as of so far, I've never had an issue where the budget's gone exceeded £1,000. It normally comes in just a bit less.
Okay, no problem. And then, is there any way you could give me kind of a projected reach for that £1,000? Like,
in terms of how many leads?
Well, kind of how many views that would give me.
Yeah, I could do that right now for you. Just bear with me. This will be only an estimation, because obviously between now and our onboarding and kickoff call, we are looking to narrow down the.
I'm just going to mute that as he's doing that. Ben could close this prospect with a guarantee as a secret weapon here. Ben had like a secret weapon here where he was like, okay, well, actually, in this instance, I'm very confident that this will work for you. So I would be willing to guarantee you at least 5 quote-ready leads in the first month. So if your concern is budget, then we'll make sure that we generate you at least 5 quote-ready leads in the first month. Now, anyone who's got an ad agency will know that 5 quote-ready leads is not many at all. For £1,000 spend, that's £250 per lead. That's nothing. If we say that 1 out of 3 leads is going to be a good lead, I would estimate that for a home automation business, you're going to be getting between £20 and £40 cost per lead, like for good leads. And so you're going to get much more than 5 quote-ready leads in that period of time. This prospect would close. I'm just going to pause this because the prospect's saying something. The prospect would definitely close with a guarantee in place right now. Okay, and I don't recommend people using guarantees, broadly speaking, like for front-end marketing. I hate it when an agency sells someone on a guarantee on the front, because then the entire sales call becomes about the guarantee. But a guarantee is a great weapon to be used when someone has pricing concerns. Someone's got a pricing concern. I'm just concerned about that $1,000. Well, okay, fine. Well, what about this? Bam, weapon. Take that, you bastard. You would close this client, 100%.
Probably 30 to 50.
30 to 50. Let's just do that for now.
Right, so they're doing like this reach thing.
Right.
Share your screen if you're going to do it. This is like dead time here. It's taking way too long. There you go. Now we're sharing our screen.
3K, and then the leads that come in 5 to 20, I'd probably go with around 10. That's what they estimate. But obviously, once we, I guess, as I said before, in the kickoff call, once we condense this into our real and actual true audiences, I can give you a guaranteed guaranteed estimated daily results that they believe. But this is kind of just based off the information we've been so far.
Okay, that's good information actually.
100%. When you realize and see how many leads you can actually generate.
I would struggle with that many leads.
No, we've got the opposite problem. Yeah, but this is anyway. If you're ever doing this estimate thing on Meta to say like this is Meta based on algorithm, ignore the leads part, like because this is generally isn't very accurate. Okay, but this is an idea of the reach. What you need to do is if you're selling a service, you need to understand a rough idea, parameter between how much it costs to generate a lead. If we said to the prospect right at the start, because the prospect only cares about generating leads, if the prospect understood how much money it cost them to acquire a lead on the front end, okay, so my experience from working with businesses just like yours, a lead is going to cost you anything between 20, or we can say 15 and 40 pounds. They know that. Right in the presentation stage. That's what we want to really go through, the meat. This is how many leads you can expect to generate. So when they get to the price, they're already calculating in their head, okay, 1,000 leads, that is £1,000, that is X amount of leads. We're doing it now based on Facebook's estimation, which is way too many, which now means we're in a frame of over-promising and under-delivering, and even worse, the prospect thinks he's going to get 10 leads a day, which is just not happening. Let's see what happens.
Okay, and when you say struggle, does that mean contacting that many leads?
Yeah, just managing that many leads.
Okay, that's not a problem. Obviously, with all the leads that come through, we, as I said before,
If the client signs up, they're now thinking 10 leads a day. Never 10 leads a day. They're going to be spending £200 to £400 a day. You know, £200 to £500 a day. If it's like high quality home automation, for example.
it comes through to a form, and on that form, it comes through in like a very organized.
So now we're in a state if the prospect closes, their expectations are way off. That's a problem in post sales.
So I can check it, let's say 7 a.m., send it to you by 9. When you first start the day, it give you, let's say, 7 to 10 people to call, and you can call them, or we can obviously, as I said before, we can set up a system where for you, anyone below 5K, looking for that works for you. And
Meeting in, say, a week's time.
yeah, so when we be best, just kind of give you and gauge your thoughts and go through them. Does that work for you? they'll realistically say yes, because I know they're actually going to go through with it now. And then that will allow us to set up in your diary again a call later on. But also, as I said before, we can obviously set up an appointment calendar. So even if it is a lot of calls for you, it would then allow them to, I guess, listen to your calendar at a better time that works for you and also for them.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let me go work on the budget. And then can we have a meeting in, say, a week's time?
Yeah. So when would it be best for you? This time again next week?
Yeah, this time next week should be fine.
Okay, no worries. And would it be good for me to send the contract out now or next week? Don't forget as well, of course, within our setup fees, that's the 1 week incentive we give, where if you, from when the contract's sent out to you and you're in receipt of it, within 1 week, if you sign up with us there, the setup fees waived. So I'm happy to do that next week. Does that work for you?
Yeah, let's do that next week, and then I'll know whether I can proceed pretty much there and then.
No worries, of course. Don't worry, I'll send you again an email today just to kind of lay out these options for you again. And as I said before, we understand obviously within the going for let's say 3-6 months, using personal funds is just not obtainable. Even if it is, it's not something that anybody wants to do. So that's why for us, we're looking to get you obviously with that amount of leads, especially get you some tangible results within month 1.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, Ben, you've been very thorough. Thank you very much. And
thank you, Paul. Just to ask, do you have
week.
any questions for me now, between now, because I know to make the best informed decision, you obviously need as much information as possible. Is there any other questions that are niggling in the back of your mind?
No, he doesn't need that.
I
applaud you, but
you've answered everything I had a question for at the moment.
Check, does 1 o'clock work for you as well again, same time?
Yeah.
Firstly, great work, Ben. Your energy and enthusiasm is something to be admired, and your desire to be thorough and to ensure the prospect has no questions is something to be applauded. But it's also your own worst enemy. And in this call, you definitely could have got this prospect over the line. There's no doubt about it. They are underqualified. They are making too little money, generally speaking, for your service. Doesn't mean that doesn't mean generally speaking that you can't sell to them, because this prospect wants it. But if you had a small guarantee in your first month for 5 quote-ready leads, for example, just as a buffer, then you would probably be able to get the client over the line. And again, I want to reiterate that guarantee is not something you ever want to state on the front-end marketing until you've actually got you've got clients signed with case studies and so on. So your biggest problem is you're talking way too much. You're talking too quickly and way too much. Think about how you can, when somebody asks you a question, how you can answer it in the most few words possible. So, well, just in the most efficient way possible, and say. And do not ever answer multiple questions in one if they haven't been asked. So if someone asks you about your monthly service fee, don't start talking to them about ad spend after you've mentioned service fee, because it just shows that you are scrambling to try and sell them. And the overall energy that the sales call expressed for me was desperation, not in the severest sense, but there was an underlying, a subconscious desperation to sign up the client. And look, I get it, because I've been there myself. You want to get the client, you want to get the case study, you want to get your feet off the ground, you want to be like an agency owner. I get it, I've been there, but that mindset is the thing that's stopping you from signing clients. On a sales call, we have to act as if we are an agency owner that doesn't need to close the prospect. We are there to genuinely provide value and to help this person reach their goals. Not in any sense can we lay a sliver or plant a seed that we are there for our own benefit and for us to just make money. And the minute we start like trying to sell the prospect so heavily, or we're trying to scramble, okay, and we're just like fleeting around different topics, that is when we're showing that we really want that sale, we really need that sale, and therefore we are dropping the trust, and we're killing the shit that we achieved on the discovery call. Okay. In the presentation stage, there's too much talk about mechanics, too much talk about benefits. What what we really need to do is talk about the results, talk about the end game, okay? What are we trying to do here? We're trying to generate leads. So express to the prospect how much they could expect to spend on leads, okay? From your experience, what it looks like in their industry. They asked about appointment setting in the objection handling. The appointment setting part is a really great sell, okay? We're actually going to, because what we're doing is, so in your instance, you would talk about appointment setting. Oh, we're going to get this guy and he's going to call you up and look at this form and blah, blah, blah. That is mechanics. If we want to sell appointment setting, then we're selling it for, you don't even have to touch these leads. Okay, so you're not even going to have to spend any time here, John. We're going to call up all these leads on your behalf. We're going to make sure they're qualified so you're only speaking to the people that are ready for a quote. So there, we're explaining appointment setting. And if they've got questions about the mechanics, then we answer them. You as the salesperson want to state the benefit of the feature. The prospect asks you for the features and how it works. Okay? You state the end result. They ask you how it works. Never ask how it works. You state how it works and then I ask you for the result. That's not how it works. Okay? So we explain appointment setting to them through the benefit, through the result of them not having to waste any time speaking to shit leads, you know? And then also if we stated like how much leads would cost and so on, giving them a parameter, when it comes to the sales stage, we wouldn't have had this 20-minute objection handling because they're not reverse engineering all of the pricing there and then. They've already got a good understanding of it. And of course, if you've got case studies, you want to leverage those case studies. Really, a presentation stage just ends up being case studies. This is what we did for somebody else. So you told me you're in this position, you want to get in this position, look at all these people we've already done it for. Give me your money. Because that's what they buy. It's all about building as much trust as possible. In the early stages, when we don't have these assets and we don't have these leverages, when we don't have these case studies, which I'm presuming you don't right now, you have to just utilize trust and focus on the end result and attentive listening, okay? But when we have case studies, the entire presentation stage becomes about those case studies, which all it is doing is just wearing a big fat fucking sign on our chest saying, I can get this result because I've done it 1,000 times. No, boom, 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 boom. And they're like, okay, I get the picture. Take my money. But all in all, so much to gain here, and that is very exciting. I can't wait to see how you improve after this feedback. And if you guys want me to record more of these call reviews, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.